I want to tell you this terrifying story, this terrifying medical story. I think everybody should hear this, men, women, and young people. We should all be aware of stuff like this because it's literally bone-chilling. So, and lots of us have been misdiagnosed for years or decades and are suffering, trying to fight for a diagnosis. And this story will make you think, and this story should make you want to help protect other people. So, and I'm not saying all doctors are like this either. So anyways, there's this young woman. We're talking about being misdiagnosed. There's this young woman, she's in her 20s, and oh shoot, blocking traffic. The sidewalk's too slippery. Hang on, these cars are going to pass. There's this young woman in her 20s, and she's been sick for years, and nobody can figure out what's going on with her, and she's very slowly getting sicker and sicker, and then finally she becomes so ill that she winds up in the ER, and she is very, very ill, fighting for her life and scared because up until now, no one's been able to diagnose her. And she is knocking on death's door. So she's in the ER for a long time, and finally the doctor comes back and he says, well, I've got good news and I've got bad news. The good news is, the bad news is you have this disease, but the good news is we found it in time and we're going to save your life today. And she was in an Addisonian crisis. She had Addison's disease, and it had gotten to the point where it became life-threatening. My dog died of Addison's, and President JFK had Addison's disease, but I don't think most people knew that. Anyways, so she's relieved. She's got this, difficult disease. But they're going to save her life today in the ER. And he adds to that, if you would have been in your 50s, I would have just sent you home. So, everybody who's listening to this story, this girl's story, all the women over 50 are listening to this just speechless and terrified. What this means, of course, is if she would have been in her 50s, he would have sent her home to die. That's straight up what it means. He would have decided that her life wasn't worth saving. Now, why? You got to ask yourself why. Like, this girl was so young, it didn't really register how grave those words were. You got to ask yourself why was this doctor completely devaluing the lives of women over 50? How many doctors are like this? So he sees, why would he do this? Is it really expensive to save somebody in the ER in a hospital? Is it really expensive to treat an Addisonian crisis? I have no idea. Or does this guy just generally devalue the lives of women over 50? That should terrify you if you're in your 50s, or your wife is in her 50s, or your mom. It just goes to show how desperately women 50 or over need advocates with them. That story just still terrifies me.